From guessing his ATM pin on a live podcast.
How'd I do, Joe? Is that your ATM pin code?
Yeah.
To calling him out for not wearing a mask during the pandemic.
First of all,
Oh, God, you're so tough with your open nose and throat. Gee, Joe, and your 5 o'clock shadow. This is a man right here. A man doesn't wear a mask.
These are the moments when guests humiliated Joe Rogan, starting with episode 2332, where Rogan had invited Oz Perlman, a renowned mentalist and magician whose craft lies in reading minds and bending reality in ways that leave people unsettled.
Watch. Let's try something fun.
Okay.
Okay?
Perlman had already dazzled audiences across the world. He is known as a man who could get inside your head without you even realizing it, and Joe was clearly skeptical about it.
If I asked you, would your wife know your social security number?
No.
She doesn't know it.
No.
So is there any way in the world I could know your social security number?
I don't think so.
Right, you say I'm a stalker, who knows?
Yeah, you could
Also,
have got the information
maybe.
online.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical, you're skeptical.
Well, especially someone famous.
Yeah, fully. Plus you can't change that, so I'm not going to do that to you.
Data dumps.
As the conversation rolled on, what started as a random questioning demonstration quickly escalated.
Would your wife know your ATM PIN code? No?
No.
Lie to me. Do not tell me your real ATM PIN code.
Okay.
Obviously, unless you want to. Make up a fake 4-digit number off the top of your head, what feels to you utterly spontaneous.
Okay.
When I say go, 1, 2, 3, 4-digit code, random, go.
Okay.
Say it.
2020.
It wasn't just a magic trick. This was going to be a very real exposure of something deeply personal, live, recorded, and broadcast to millions.
2020, okay. So you ask me, how do I do what I do? Now,
Right.
I'm going to write down 2020.
Okay.
It's weird, but statistically, men will lie bigger, women smaller.
Joe's body language said it all. Crossed arms, eyes darting, and the unmistakable look of someone who'd just been stripped of control on his own stage.
I wrote 2020 is smaller. That's what most people do when they're rushed. If I had given you 5 minutes, you would have done this different.
No, I wouldn't have.
No, you would have. That's
Why
what I do.
would I have?
Because you would have thought about it, and then
No.
people go down a different path.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, worked out
Nope.
for me either way.
As Oz began writing the digits down, Rogan's face tightened.
I got a hit, which means it's a 0 or 1. I think the first number of your code's a 1, isn't it? Your real PIN code.
My ATM
PIN code.
Why would I tell you that on the air?
Should I only show this to you?
Sure.
Only show it to you.
Yeah.
Can we acquiesce that the first number I got was correct?
Yes.
Okay.
After that, Perlman slipped into full mentalist mode, focused, relentless, and reading Rogan like an open book.
You used 2 numbers in repeats. What that means is you probably did the same thing. You also didn't use any of the same numbers. I know there's not a 2, a 0, or a 2 in it. I don't think so either. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching you while I say it. You put the hand up. You might as well have said yes to me out loud. So now I know. Think of the second number,
Okay.
third number, fourth number.
Got it.
Every time you did it, it's a data point.
Okay.
I'm only going to ask you one more question. I'm not looking for answers. The last number is the biggest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, the big reveal came, leaving Rogan stunned into silence.
It's not 2020. How'd I do, Joe? Is that your ATM PIN code?
Yeah. That's weird. I'm skeptical because I got that PIN code in the mail.
For Rogan, the man who often prides himself on being unflappable, the moment was humiliating. Even Joe's jokes afterwards felt uneasy. Fans flooded comment sections with a mix of awe and amusement. Rogan hates when people disagree with him. He sounds like a stubborn kid. Joe looks pissed as hell. But while the mentalist exposed Rogan's private life, Steven Crowder went straight for his beliefs. Episode 911 of the Joe Rogan Experience wasn't destined to be a quiet chat, because this was the infamous sit-down with Steven Crowder, a comedian, political commentator, and conservative firebrand known for his confrontational style.
Probably wouldn't talk about the marijuana issue.
That.
I wouldn't care. Because here's the thing. I don't care about it. I
One
really
way
don't.
or the other?
But my issue with it is when, and we saw this in Montreal, I talked about it when people lie about it and they're dishonest with their voting constituency.
Unlike most guests, Crowder didn't arrive to be charmed by Rogan's conversational ease. He came ready for a fight.
Like how so?
Well, saying, it's medicine for A, B, C, or D. It may be medicine for A, but not for B, C, or D.
Well, what are the B, C's, and D's? What are the things that's not medicine
an example. Well, you're asking me what I wouldn't talk about, and
Right.
you're asking me to defend it. My point is, I don't really care about it.
But what are the B, C's, and D? What you said
It cures
specific.
cancer.
Well, there
is one.
has been shown.
It helps with cancer about as much as turmeric and ginger.
Rogan, a longtime advocate for marijuana use, casually defended its benefits.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a prescription.
But CBD has been shown
With
to have
seizures.
tremendous benefits for cancer and non-psychoactive.
But Crowder wasn't buying it.
I have zero
Yes.
problem with CBD being
Okay.
legalized. But my
Which is
issue
also cannabis.
I'll have to, I feel the need to call people out and bullshit when they say, well, the reason it's not is because of big pharmaceutical companies. I go, hold on a second. There's 7 patents on chemical compounds from marijuana right now.
Right.
The people who stand to make the most out of marijuana legalization are pharmaceutical companies. That's why they make...
That's not true.
And Rogan's defense of it was irresponsible.
There are absolutely people who have lobbied, as we talked about how the prison guard union has lobbied to keep marijuana illegal. There's absolutely pharmaceutical companies have done the same thing. It was revealed in the WikiLeaks memos.
See, this is where I was saying
hold on, don't interrupt me. Where Hillary Clinton said that she's against marijuana in every sense of the word, right? You remember those?
His voice was steady, but you could feel the tension building. But Crowder doubled down.
Traffic fatalities regarding marijuana skyrocketed.
Rogan's face tightened. The playful host was gone. He leaned into the mic, voice rising, losing his composure.
Stop.
No, hold on a second. This is
you
because
interrupt way too much.
No,
you need to stop.
You talk
Hold
in
on
paragraphs.
A second. No. I don't talk in
Go
paragraphs.
ahead.
I make full points. If people are high a lot and the same amount of fatalities exist, but the people that get checked once they get into these accidents happen to be high, it does not necessarily mean that marijuana cause those fatalities. It could be that you have an increased incidence of people doing marijuana and altercations that could not have been avoided.
It could be.
Crowder wasn't backing down either.
Good
Yeah,
for you.
I don't buy that smoking would be as beneficial as a reduced sugar diet. And my point is that people
you
get
might
so
be-
offended
you
by
might
me
be
saying that
correct.
and saying, but if you want to smoke, go ahead.
You might be correct,
Shouldn't be offensive.
but it doesn't matter because it's not a fucking contest to see what's the most beneficial. The question is it beneficial and is it damaging?
As their back and forth grew louder, the power dynamic shifted.
The
What's
fact that you
damaging?
said that, no, let me finish my point. It does matter. You said, what would you not talk about? I said, probably pot because I don't care. Well, what do you think
You
about it? I
definitely
said,
care. That's
this
why
is
you're
what I
arguing
think
with me
about
it.
And your eyes
Lying.
light up. And all of a
Lying.
sudden,
You
where
cares?
ideology and
You care
worldviews
like crazy.
shouldn't be discussed.
No, you
You're
care.
going to laser in like a tractor beam on the most important issue of the day that I said, I don't care.
Rogan, usually the conductor of the conversation, looked rattled, pinned down by Crowder's refusal to concede, and you could see it in the shift in his language.
Right
You're
now, of a
denying-
chemical
Hold on.
compound.
You're
Well, watch
denying.
it. Come on. It's been a good
Come on,
conversation.
We're friends.
And his language only deteriorated from there, showing just how frustrated he was becoming.
I don't care about your website, you
Viewers agreed. I love Joe, but this is literally every pothead when you give them the negatives to weed. Denial, then blame another substance, then talk about how weed has almost no effect, blah blah blah. As a fellow smoker, knock it off, Joe. If Crowder rattled Rogan with logical debates, Eddie Bravo tested his patience with pure conspiracy. The Brazilian jiu-jitsu legend and conspiracy enthusiast Eddie Bravo had always been a fan favorite on the Joe Rogan Experience. His appearances were usually lighthearted, filled with playful banter about martial arts, music, and his endless rabbit holes of alternative theories. But in this episode, things took a sharp and unexpected turn.
Today, in this day and age, you don't think anybody's like when SpaceX shoots rockets off into space, or when Amazon has a rocket company now. These guys are going to be able to launch satellites and even have consumer flights.
I just need proof, man.
What about
I see a lot
consumer
of
flight?
deception. I see a
In
lot
the
of
future?
deception.
The conversation started harmlessly enough, but when Eddie flat out refused to believe in humanity's greatest accomplishments, the mood began to shift.
So
For
anything
everything.
coming
Anything
from a
coming from
government
the government.
agency, whatever, it's a government agency, I look at it like Foxcatcher. You've lied enough where I'm like, I need some irrefutable evidence. Otherwise, why do I have to believe it?
Rogan leaned in, trying to keep the conversation logical, pushing Eddie to explain himself. His tone was calm but clipped, as if willing his friend to back off before things got embarrassing.
SpaceX
Yes, they
is a
are.
private company.
Yeah, no, they're subsidized by the government, man.
they're subsidized?
They do. They got like $4 billion from
So
the
they tell
government.
them to fake space?
But Bravo only grinned, doubling down.
You saw that Tesla launch? You saw that?
What are you talking about?
When
launched
he
the-
claimed to launch a
the
Tesla,
Roadster
yeah,
into
that Roadster.
space?
Did you see that footage?
Okay.
You can't just buy that, dude. You can't just buy that.
Well,
dude.
let me
it's
see it.
ridiculous.
Okay, let me see
the
it.
very first thing, Elon Musk said in his press conference, the first thing he said is like, "Well, I think it's impossible and ridiculous, and if you can tell it's real because it looks so fake." That's the opposite of logic. That there's logic and reason, and then there's the opposite of that.
No,
you
wait,
can
but-
tell it's real because it looks so fake. Is the opposite of logic.
Each time Rogan countered with reason, Eddie fired back with defiance, dismissing science as lies and institutions as corrupt.
Or that's just something he says because he's a f***ing genius and he's taking a picture from space
No, the reason
of a
why he
car
said
that's
that,
flying
no,
through the air.
No, the reason he said that was because all day when they did that, all day, all over the internet was like fake, 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 fake. So
Okay,
he had to have a
slow-
statement.
please slow down.
He had to
You're
have a
killing
statement.
This is so ridiculous. Let me see it, Jamie.
The debate escalated quickly. Eddie hurled his wild claims with unshakable confidence, while Joe fought back with logic, visibly straining to keep his patience.
Anytime you see a rocket shoot, you see it go up and then you see it go down into the ocean.
No.
They launch rockets.
You
They're launching
don't.
rockets.
That's what it looks like, because what you're seeing it go over the curve of the earth, Eddie. You're seeing it go over the ocean. You're seeing it go up and over. And so as it gets further away that you can't see it anymore, it looks like it's going
supposed
down.
to be going up,
But
not
it is going
parallel
down. It
to
is
the
going
ground.
up. It's not going parallel to the ground.
Okay.
Finally, Rogan snapped. His voice rose, his composure cracked, and he erupted with frustration.
But if you have
No.
someone explain it to you, will you still believe it? If you have a scientist explain to you how the physics work of the way
no
you see it,
explanation.
it
No,
won't
there's
work?
no explanation. I need evidence.
You need evidence. But just because something doesn't look real
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's fake.
But it doesn't mean it's real. I need evidence.
For several minutes, Rogan unleashed every weapon in his arsenal. Logic, science, sarcasm, even exasperated disbelief, all in a desperate attempt to reel Eddie back to reality.
You didn't go to school for this stuff. These people that
I
are
understand.
talking to you.
Dude, I
but
research
these
this
people-
all the time.
I know, but you're
I
hearing
research-
from
what I'm
one
saying is not a
side,
lie.
but you know what I'm saying?
What I'm
You're
saying
hear-
is that at 100 miles, there should be 6,000 feet of curvature. You don't even understand what that means.
I don't.
I understand what that means. If we live on a ball that at every 100 miles, there should be 6,000 feet of curvature. There's a formula for it. But when you look, there's Navy ships that can target other Navy ships with lasers 100 miles away. It would be impossible if there was a 6,000 foot curvature of water. Impossible. They take pictures of their target. Pictures at 100 miles. There's no curvature. It's flat. There should be 6,000 feet of
They
curvature.
take pictures with what, Eddie? This is not your area of expertise.
For the audience, it was a bizarre mix of hilarity and tension. I like how Eddie eases into conspiracy theories and then goes full-on attack mode. I would pay good money to see Eddie's recommended YouTube algorithm. Rogan can handle flat Earth, but Milo Yiannopoulos brought a whole different kind of chaos.
So you're not religious.
No, I believe. I don't necessarily go to mass all the time, but I
You
do
believe
believe.
what?
I'm a Catholic. I would
believe in-
call myself a Catholic. Yeah. I
So
mean, I'm not
you-
a good Catholic, but you know.
But when you say you believe, like you believe in what? The Bible?
Well, I believe in Catholicism. I'm a Catholic, I think.
So you believe that it's a good idea to have confession,
Yeah.
and you have a dude who never had sex ever, listening to stories whispered through a hole in the wall.
The conversation quickly took a darker turn when Milo began speaking about religion, sexuality, and societal norms in ways that drew audible discomfort from Joe.
I mean, just look at the dreary hell of the atheist art scene. Look at the sum total
The
of
atheist art scene?
Rogan's face tightened. He interrupted, pressing,
what I mean is,
You want to look at the atheist art scene? Look at almost all the good movies ever made. Look at almost all the great albums ever made. Look at almost all the great
I think you
comedians
compare
that have ever
Hollywood to-
told
you
jokes
can't
ever.
compare Hollywood-
That's the atheist
Hollywood
art
to
scene.
some-
But you want to do ketamine and
I
amphetamines and
never
have
did
some
any of
black
those
guys.
things. I was
and
speaking purely
You were talking about
theoretically.
fivesomes at the age of 13. Okay, these
Yeah,
are all
but
not in the Bible. You
listeners-
can look in the
listeners can
Bible
fill in-
all day. You'll never
I'm
find
happy-
drag queen
happy-
fivesomes.
Milo did not back down. He argued that Christianity was the foundation of civilization.
I feel sorry for people who have a sort of bleak, empty existence of
Oh,
militant
that's not
atheism.
bleak.
Instead of backtracking, Milo leaned further into the provocation, tossing out lines designed to shock both Rogan and the audience.
You know what? There's nothing more depressing than seeing somebody who you admire, who's obviously smart and clever,
Who won't
and
buy
interesting.
into old fairy tales.
No, to
God damn it.
speak so disparagingly about such a complex and fascinating part of who we are.
You're
Now,
right.
Look at
yeah.
His delivery was calm, while Rogan's voice grew sharper, more defensive.
And different religions in different places are fascinating because they illustrate the different emphases on those core values of love and charity and self-sacrifice that different societies place on things. Now, I'm not asking you to believe that that when you take Holy Communion, you're ingesting the body and blood of Christ.
Thank
That's not going to happen.
God.
But what I am suggesting is you shouldn't be such a dismissive about about such an integral, rich, beautiful, and crucial part of human history that teaches us so much about who we are.
Joe tried to pin Milo down logically.
This is a disingenuous argument because you were mocking me about making fun of things that are absolutely preposterous, like coming back from the dead, healing people, turning wine.
No, what I'm saying is, even if you only believe their stories, these are the most important stories that the Western tradition, the
Those
Western
are the most
civilization,
important stories.
the most important stories that have ever been told.
They're folklore.
Even if you believe that, they say something deep and profound about who we are and about what we care about most, about our anxieties.
Normally the one to challenge bad ideas with calm authority, here he looked unsettled, struggling to keep control as Milo thrived in the chaos he created. On the other hand, Brian Dunning cornered Rogan with cold skepticism and hard facts. Brian Dunning, a science writer and the host of the podcast Skeptoid, known for debunking pseudoscience and conspiracy theories, had built a career on dismantling claims Rogan often entertained.
I read about you, and I read some of the things, and I didn't know when you had contacted me that you had included me in your, how many celebrities were there, 8 or 10?
It was the top 10 most wanted celebrities promoting harmful pseudoscience.
And in that, I read about myself, and I was shocked to learn that I believe that 911 was created by the government. I did not know. I didn't know that I believed that.
What followed was less of a conversation and more of a battle of views.
The only thing I've ever said that's controversial at all is that Tower 7, when you watch it fall, it looks like in controlled demolition.
And just like that, the podcast turned into a heated debate.
And I don't think that's controversial because it looks like a controlled demolition.
Yeah, when you look at just the top half of it, it does.
Well, you look at the whole thing, the way the structure collapses.
There's no video of the whole thing. You can only see the video of the top, really the top quarter of it as it disappears behind the building.
It's not really, I wouldn't say it's the top quarter. It was a 48-floor building, correct?
I don't know. I'm not going to argue the fraction, but you don't see the bottom of it.
Well, that's true, but it is very unusual how it falls into its base instead of falls over.
It didn't. It fell. It started to fall down straight, but then it almost destroyed 2 other buildings that it fell against.
The contrast was striking. Rogan, passionate and animated; Dunning, methodical and surgical. With every rebuttal, Rogan seemed cornered.
If someone had just listened to our last 5 minutes here of the exchange, it sounded like you were trying to convince me that 9/11 was a hoax.
What was meant to be an open discussion quickly became one of Rogan's most humbling moments.
If it then makes sense for you to promote the idea that 9/11 was probably not a government conspiracy, then why would you spend 5 minutes showing me this video and bringing it to the attention of everyone on your show, saying, "Hey, look at this! Look how it was probably controlled demolition." Or
That's
look how
not what I said.
I'm sorry. Look how much it looked like a controlled demolition.
Because it does, because it's interesting.
Yeah, but unless you're framing that within the context of, look how easy it is to be mistaken, which is not what you said.
But why do I have to do that, to just observe something that's fascinating?
You don't have to do it, but what Neil Tyson was trying to sell you on was the value of doing it. Giving people the tools to understand the way the world probably actually works.
For once, the curious guy approach wasn't enough.
Let me go back again to how this is a good segue to what I wrote back in 2008.
Okay, please.
Okay, so I think you were number 8 on my list of top 10 celebrities who promote harmful pseudoscience. And here's the paragraph that I wrote on you. Number 8, Joe Rogan. Comedian Joe Rogan does what he can to promote virtually any conspiracy theory that he stumbles onto, apparently accepting them all uncritically with a wholesale embrace. Now, I know you would disagree with that now.
Of course I would.
and I want to give you that chance, so let me continue. The worst part is that he promotes these ideas to the public at every interview opportunity, but gives himself the intellectual get-out-of-jail-free card of not needing any evidence by hiding behind the childish debate technique of saying, "Hey, I'm just the guy asking questions." God, this makes me sound like an asshole.
Well, it's just factually inaccurate on so many different levels. I don't understand why you wrote it like that.
Because many of us, myself included, think that it does more harm than good, because you're suggesting to anyone who might be on the fence, you're suggesting to them that there is a debatable question here.
If Brian Dunning left Rogan cornered with facts, Dave Portnoy left him red-faced over fists and footwork. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy is known for being brash, confrontational, and never afraid to double down. The episode began like many others, with playful back and forth about sports, business, and internet culture. But soon, the conversation zeroed in on a surprisingly divisive figure.
Fury is not a real boxer.
Of course he's a real boxer.
No chance.
He's a professional boxer. Is he a world champion? No. But maybe he is. Is he?
No.
What is he? What is, like,
Tommy Fury?
He might have some sort of a title.
If he does, it's in name only. I saw Tommy Fury box. He is not a boxer.
Well, he's definitely a boxer.
Rogan immediately tensed.
Definitely a boxer. But is he a boxer like his brother? No.
Well, clearly, but Tommy Fury we would not know who Tommy Fury was if his last name wasn't Fury.
As a lifelong fight commentator and martial arts analyst, Joe wasn't about to let that claim slide.
Probably we wouldn't know as much about him. But he's still a good-looking guy. He's built great. He looks looks the part.
Looks the part.
And even brought up proof to disprove Portnoy.
Here's Tommy Fury. You telling me this guy doesn't look like a boxer? You're out of your fucking mind.
Who's he fighting?
But I don't give a dude. Look at this. Look at this. He's fighting a professional boxer. The guy he's fighting looks good. Dude, you're crazy if you don't think Tommy Fury's a
I don't
boxer.
think-
Look at that uppercut. Shut the f up, dude.
No.
Shut the f up. Watch this.
Find
Look,
the
just
Tommy
look at
Fury.
this.
Find the
Dude.
Tommy Fury fight on
Dude,
the
shut
Jake
the
Paul
fuck.
card.
Shut the fuck
This
up.
guy
and-
cannot.
Please shut the fuck up and watch this. Watch what he's doing. This motherfucker is 100% a boxer.
Can you
You're
find me the
just
record of
watch
Volkanovski?
this. Stop. Watch this. Watch this. Look at this. Look at this.
What is
This
that?
guy's a fucking boxer,
That
man.
doesn't prove anything. Find me the record of Volkanovski.
Just look at this. Just look at what he's doing.
That's
I don't give a shit. Look at the way he's delivering these combinations. He's 100% a boxer.
No.
Dude, you're high. You're
No.
f***ing high. Look at that
Maybe on
right
a cigar.
hand. Dude, look at this f***ing punching ability. Tommy Fury is 100% a legit boxer.
The tension turned into a shouting match.
You're out of your mind if you
No.
don't. Look at this.
What
Look
is
at that
You
right
think
hand.
that was in slow motion.
No,
I
it's
think.
not in slow motion.
I think you slowed that down.
No,
do anything, but this
no,
is a highlight
no one's.
reel.
This is a
This is a
highlight,
highlight
reel.
reel.
But look at his highlight reel. Look at his highlight reel. He is 100% a legitimate professional boxer. If you don't think so, you're just being a hater.
No, I'm not a hater.
Dude, I'm telling
Why would I
you.
hate
Find
Tommy
another
Fury?
He might not. He's not Dimitri Bivol. He's not Canelo Alvarez. But he is 100% a real boxer.
I'd like to get the combined records of everybody Tommy Fury has fight.
The argument dragged, each man circling the same point. Fans flooded the comments, some mocking Portnoy for being delusional, others laughing at how easily he got under Rogan's skin. I just love how frustrated Joe is, cause he's clearly right and has proof, yet Dave just ain't buying it. A pizza reviewer telling a fight commentator that someone can't box. While Portnoy rattled Rogan with boxing hype, Candace Owens shook him with something far bigger, the climate crisis. What started as another spirited debate turned into one of Rogan's most visibly frustrating interviews.
You don't think we have to care about the environment? Like, what do you,
No, not even a little bit. Like,
not even a little bit?
But Owens threw down the gauntlet. She dismissed climate change as overblown, leaving Rogan shocked.
okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like I'm not saying like we need to like trash the environment. Like but do I believe in climate change? No.
Rogan froze for a second, then leaned in.
Forget the fact of whether you believe global warming is real. Let's say it's 100% real. Let's say we know for a fact it's real. Is there a way?
Well, let's be clear.
Yeah.
Global warming, climate change is definitely real. It's happening.
Well,
the question
but
is
it's
why
always
has it happened?
happened.
Yes, it has always happened.
So what is the
real-
climate change? Yes, the climate changes. It was different weather yesterday than it was today. The climate is forever changing. Like that's the problem, is that people are making it seem like that's something weird.
His tone sharpened.
You're misrepresenting the issue. The issue is people think that human beings are exacerbating climate
Right.
change to the point where there's a tipping point. We cross over that tipping
Right.
point. We're going to deal with huge problems that could be corrected if we act now and put a lot of funding into climate control. Studies into scientific agreement on human-caused global warming, and look at all the studies. It's between 100% and 91% at the lowest. 91% of one of the studies from 2014.
This is the Union of Concerned Scientists.org.
Yeah. They almost, it's a pretty broad
Right.
consensus.
Owens smiled, repeating her stance. She doubled down with lines about political agendas.
Science.
But this has been politicized. That's the thing.
Science has been politicized.
Yes, it has. Global warming in particular has been politicized. 100% it has been politicized. Right? That's the whole reason I fell down this dark hole one night reading about it. And I was like, you know what? At the end of the day,
think
I don't really care.
it has been politicized,
Yeah.
but I think that's also maybe why you're saying you don't agree with it so quickly.
Right.
Because
I'm
it's an
telling you that's why. I read
it's
it.
an ideological right-wing point.
Right.
Is that global warming isn't real.
Right.
If you're one of those people that thinks global warming isn't real, you're almost always on the right.
Right. And that's fine. But I'm telling you that, like, again, I didn't do a deep dive on all of this because I read about it because it was at a forefront of discussion. So I read about it all night. And my conclusion was that they started pulling up all of these studies from the person that, did this that I did a deep dive on. And they started showing how, like, these community of scientists were in fact somewhere behind that .org as someone that was being funded. So to me, the issue got too politicized for me to believe that global warming was something that was going to wipe out the world. Now,
scientists get funded. That is a fact.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that the funding affects the scientific research
Right.
and the data, which they all agree on. And this is universally across the entire planet.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of scientists would not stake their reputation on false data. What they're saying is not that the only reason why the world is getting warm is because human beings. That the only reason why the climate isn't totally static for the rest of eternity is because of human beings. What they're saying is we are negatively impacting our own environment, and we're doing it because we have poor technology and we use coal and fossil fuels and emissions, and we're raising our CO2 levels. And this is based on data. And this is something that you can look at. You could look at the data and follow where they're getting this information from, and follow how they're making these conclusions, and follow the vast majority of these brilliant people who study this their whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
Rogan lost his cool and took a different route of argument. With his voice raised, his body language tense.
You're a very smart person, and people listen to you, and they're going to listen to you for a long time.
But this is what I hate. This is what I hate.
But hold
because
on,
then it's
let me
like,
finish
Candace,
what
you
I'm
have
saying.
to have a formed opinion on everything.
No, you don't have to have a formed opinion on everything. What you do have to have is the ability to know when you don't know what the you're talking about.
But I just said that. I said that to you the entire time.
I said
this
believe
would,
it.
I said I don't believe it. And then you asked me, and I said this wouldn't be the hill I chose to die on because I don't.
Right,
I don't
but why
follow
even
it.
say you don't believe in it?
Because I just personally, if you
how about not have a belief until you really have looked
so
at the
you
data?
would prefer if my language, as opposed to admitting that I do not know this, I wouldn't die until I've never made a video, I've never made a public statement. You would have preferred if I had just started by saying I have no opinion.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Even the audience couldn't help but sense the tension. Candace Owens was out here 6 years ago. Time flies, man. Rogan's entire mindset had changed since. The debate over climate change shook Rogan's authority, but the mask debate with Bill Burr shattered it. Joe Rogan, famously skeptical about masks and lockdowns, had spent months airing his doubts about the public health restrictions. But when comedian Bill Burr sat across from him, the tone flipped immediately.
The whole thing is, it's just creepy to have guys like Mayor Garcetti be in charge of telling people whether or not they get to work. Like, that's not what a governor is supposed to be.
Rogan kicked things off in his usual style, suggesting people were overreacting and hinting at government outreach. Bill Burr simply stated facts.
They're trying to look out for your best interests and trying to get 400 million people to all pull in the same direction. You can't get 40 comics to pull in the same direction. So
but they did.
They have like an impossible. They did and they didn't. There was people right the whole time. There's been assholes on my street walking around no masks. Not quarantining like the people that come by the houses. You see the same people that were going in and out of the house who are not part of their family still going in and out of the house.
Then Rogan questioned about the mask mandates.
You want people to walk down the street with a mask on?
Let's not start this, Joe.
Do you, though?
Let's not start this. Okay.
Let's start it.
I don't want to start this. I'm not going to sit here with no medical degree, listening to you with no medical degree, with an American flag behind you, smoking a cigar, acting like we know what's up. Better than the CDC. All I do is I watch the news once every 2 weeks. I'm like, mask or no mask? Still mask? All right, mask. That's all I give a about. I don't care.
But even they say you shouldn't wear a mask unless you're treating a coronavirus patient. The World Health Organization.
Yeah, but they didn't say that initially. They didn't say it initially.
No, they didn't.
They did, and then it gradually, and then wait, and then everybody wore the fucking masks. This is like rollerblading.
Rogan tried to push back. Burr shook his head and served ruthless truth.
Everybody fucking rollerbladed, and then there was that one fucking homophobic joke, and then everybody acted like they never did it. And then 100 million fucking rollerblades got thrown into the fucking ocean. We all wore masks, and then all of a sudden, people are fucking sitting there. What? You don't have the body type for it, dude. Your fucking knuckles would scrape on the ground. Even with that extra 2 inches. I just love how wearing a mask became like this soft thing that you were doing, like being courteous. Being courteous. What is it for? That was so stupid.
Wearing a mask. First of all,
God, you're so tough with your open nose and throat. Gee, Joe, and your 5 o'clock shadow. This is a man right here. A man doesn't wear a mask.
The room erupted with awkward laughter. Rogan leaned back, visibly irritated, but Burr wasn't done. He doubled down.
Why does it always become like that? It's always like the man versus the...
That's what men do. We make fun of things. Anything that seems like you're not taking chances, right? That's what
I don't
the
have
mask
a problem with that unless you were already wearing the mask and then you're acting like you didn't. And all of a sudden people watch your thing and then they all pile on, oh, look at this wearing the mask. It's like, you were doing it 2 weeks ago.
When tried to laugh it off, but the dynamic was clear. He wasn't in control. Burr was.
I was scared out of my mind in the beginning. Like when everybody's shutting down in the beginning and people are stockpiling food, I was convinced. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, you have like 9
gonna
elk
die.
in your basement. You were the one person I knew was fine. Tom Papa's making bread.
I've got plenty of food.
I knew he
That's
was
not
fine.
what I was worried about. I was worried about people I knew getting really sick and dying. And then I was convinced that I had it. At one point in time, I was like, God, I do feel like I'm breathing heavy. I felt like my breath is my breath is coming short. I did. I had like psychosomatic
Now
issues.
who's the big?
On it.
Now
I got
who's
over it. I got over it.
Guy had a panic attack sitting on 12 elk. You had a panic attack
in
and
the
then,
sauna.
and then you felt bad about yourself, and then you attack people with masks. That's how it works. And that's how the hatred starts. And that's right now why 7 blocks of Seattle, you can't go now and get yourself.
Burr simply mocked the foundation of Rogan's entire argument, leaving the host cornered and stripped of authority in front of millions, and the audience couldn't agree more. Goddamn impressed how effortlessly Bill made Joe look so ignorant, because Joe is ignorant, but didn't go in too hard while still embarrassing Joe, but not too much. Masterful.